really wanted to cultivate bacteria. I wanted to see invisibly small living organisms grow in a petri dish in colonies big enough to marvel at. But how would anyone benefit from that? Other than to satisfy my own personal curiosity, how would that make the world a better place? You see, things happen when you listen to your personal curiosity. The world is full of unanswered questions, and we cannot solve them if they're not asked in the first place. This is one of the first principles of the scientific method, and the engineering design, and the discovery day process. It is important to be curious and to question the world around us, especially through the lens of STEM. What is STEM? STEM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics, and for me, STEM is fundamental, not just to innovate and to create for humanity a better future, but for the development of any student or child as well. I'm not just saying that because I personally just love science and math, and seeing little microorganisms grow in a lab. It is a researched fact that the multiple fields of STEM develop critical thinking, problem-solving skills, and make learning that you might do in a classroom actually relate to the real world. For this reason, I think it is necessary that the young are all exposed to STEM. In the end, it can make them, us, professionals with a wider set of soft and hard skills, more capable of solving real-world problems as they arise. So what does that have to do with growing bacteria in the stone lab for my Discovery Day project? My question was, how might we interest students in STEM? And the way I was going to do it was by conducting a strangely fascinating little experiment with bacteria. You might not be into the topic of microbiology, but when science meets daily life and it becomes easily accessible, you can make even the most uninterested student at Rosalie College take a second glance at it, even if it is just to say, ew, gross. I was really looking forward to returning to school and getting my microfarms going in the lab, but that never happened, did it? No, something else happened. Something bigger that makes STEM even more relevant and important. My bacteria had to be pushed aside by something even smaller, a virus. And you bet we are going to need the world's greatest minds in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics to find a vaccine and to solve the crisis we are now living in. I wish I could contribute to that in some way, but my knowledge in STEM is no match for a novel virus or a pandemic. And I also cannot cultivate bacteria in my house, so what was I going to do now? The world can seem like a gloomy place from the four walls of self-isolation, but what if we could look at the global pandemic through a different lens? There is so much more to learn from a coronavirus than how long you can go without seeing your friends. With entire cities under lockdown, certain industries came to an almost complete stop, and it would be impossible not to notice differences. Some people, to this day, do not believe human actions can have a big impact on the earth. Some people still believe that they can live a life of overindulgent greed, produce equal amounts of waste, and spend Earth's resources lavishly because it doesn't matter. Except that it does. When you suddenly don't have as many people on the streets, the skies clear up and wildlife returns. And if you do not believe in simple observations, maybe you can believe data, and you could be convinced if you read into the measurable effects the temporary cease of activities have had on the environment. To me, this interesting time that we are living is a historical window that sheds light on the fact that human activities have a massive impact on the earth. So I decided to look into that, and to see what else this coronavirus could teach me about humans and their ecological footprint. My new question became, how might we use the COVID-19 pandemic to reduce our ecological footprint? As I am sure many others can relate, my fast-paced lifestyle slowed to an uncomfortably sluggish pace. But I realized there was a rare opportunity in this for me to reflect on the impact my personal choices have on the earth and actively try to lessen the harm, as usually I am too busy to do things or to change my routines. More often than not, we don't make changes, not because we don't want to, but because fitting them into our schedule can be overwhelming. Now that I was stuck at home, and with more time on my hands than usual, I made for myself a list of things I could do, and got to work. I needed something to spend my time with anyways, so why not focus on making more environmentally friendly choices? Whether it was cooking vegetarian meals, convincing my family to do meatless Mondays with me, gardening, crocheting with plastic bags, fermenting my own food, or reading more on how the coronavirus relates to the environment, I learned a lot about how much or how little our personal choices matter to the earth. I would like to believe that me changing some of my habits has a great impact on the world, for the better, of course, but statistically, that is not the case. The more I researched, the more I came to understand that just like it is not up to a single person to stop the spread of the coronavirus, it is not up to a single person to stop the environmental crisis we are also living in. It is absolutely essential that every individual assumes their responsibility in caring for humankind and the planet that we live on, and I hope that that message comes through with my Discovery Day project. It is too bad I could not cultivate bacteria this year, but it is also not every year that a new virus comes along to change life as we know it. You seize opportunities as they come, and I choose to see the coronavirus pandemic as an opportunity to reflect, reset, and take action.